Hello everyone and welcome to A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. So I'm very pleased to talk to you tonight because we're going to have a wonderful show. Now if you want to find me, you can find me, there's various places. I'm on Facebook, and I know a lot of people use Facebook, so that's great. And you can find me on Gail Moffat, international spiritual British medium and teacher. I always get it all right the wrong way, but you get the gist. It's Gail Moffat medium. And I've also, you can find me on gailmoffat.com, and there's lots of information on there, on my website, because I'm coming to California. I'm going to do a tour of theatre events in Southern California, so that's really exciting. So if you're listening from California, do go onto my website so you'll be able to see where I'm going, and maybe we can meet up. Wow, that would be wonderful. Anyway, so the things that I would like to talk to you about tonight, and when I think about the things that I need to be talking to you about, I always look to the spirit world for inspiration, and they've spoken to me about the concept of light. And I know that, you know, if you think about it, our world is made up of light and darkness. It's just as simple as that. And we can choose whether we want to be full of light or full of darkness. And it's all about our attitudes to life and how we perceive life and how we look at life that brings in the light or brings in the darkness. For you know, when we do things of a good nature and we bring goodness to our world and our lives and people, and we do the right thing, then we gradually bring more light to us. And the more light that we bring to ourselves, it's almost as though, I know you can't see it, but it's like we are illuminated. It's like we sparkle. There's something about us. You know, have you ever met that person and you just think, oh, there's something about that person. They're all sort of, they just seem so lovely, and I just feel attracted to them or drawn to them. And it's generally because of their goodness, their light. Obviously, there's other reasons why you can be drawn to them, and that's another topic for another day. So we'll talk about that another time. But from a light point of view, this can be why we're simply drawn to somebody, because of the light. And I know that, you know, when we look at our world, there's a lot of negativity in our world, and a lot of disaster, and a lot of pain, and a lot of suffering, as well as lots of good things that are going on. You know, when I look at people that perhaps are carers, doctors and nurses, people, you know, the doctors in our country, in the UK, they're sometimes working 80 hours a week, which is just phenomenal, isn't it? I mean, how do you work those sort of hours? But it's like it's a calling. You know, we're meant to sort of save lives or help people in some way. And I just think that, you know, those sort of people, you know, have you ever heard of the expression light workers? You know, in other words, they're a light worker. So they have that light come into them from spirit, and they do the work of spirit and help people. You know, another example is like teachers, because, you know, when we have children in our life, how can they grow and become independent adults and go out into the world and survive if they don't have a network of teachers, a family around them, friends, and also, you know, the formal school teachers, you know, from, you know, primary, secondary and senior schools and universities. And I just think that, you know, when you look at our infrastructure of the light workers, it's quite incredible, you know, and it begs the question to look at our world in a completely, it's like in a completely different way. Because if we look at our world, oh yes, I've come to the earth plane and I'm just here to learn my lessons. And yes, you know, we've all heard that, haven't we? We do come to learn our lessons, but there's more to it. There's an infrastructure. None of us can do this alone. And unless we have the light and the spirit world working within us and around us, then, our task of living our lives is almost impossible. And I know that, I remember sort of there's been times in my life where I've had, great sadness in my life and great pain. And I remember sort of speaking out to the spirit world, please help me. And, I suddenly got 3 or 4 phone calls from friends wanting to talk to me and were there to listen and support me, which is quite, I just saw it as just something that's so incredible, because it was the light that was working with me from the spirit world. It was the light of spirit that was helping me in those moments. And I know that it may well be that sometimes we have darkness within us. And it's not that we're a bad person, it's just circumstantial. We may be depressed, or we may have money problems, or we may have marital problems or relationship problems, and all, or career problems, work problems, and all these sort of things lead to us to sort of feel sort of down and not part of, and sort of takes us away from some of the light. And I always think that when this is how I tackle some of my bad situations that I've had to endure in my life. And trust me, I've gone through the mill and done virtually everything that possibly could happen to one person. And I think that's a product of sometimes being a medium. But I know that when now, because I have so much understanding of spirit and understanding of life, what I do is I look at my challenging situations and I say to myself, I'm going to just look at what I can positively learn from this situation. I know it's going to be tough, but I'm just going to accept it. I'm going to accept the challenge, and almost as though I take the baton and I run with it. I take the baton and I walk tall and go through the difficult situation, because I know that life will never stay the same, and I will come out the other end a wiser, a stronger, and more able person. And that's what I like sometimes about the challenges that are offered to us. But I know, they can be difficult. But if we have that attitude, it means that we can keep that light within us, and we can grow with the light, and we can walk through a situation immersed in light and be positive as we walk forward. So anyway, that's my little talk about the light and our lives. I'd like to go to one of our callers. I know we've got a caller waiting, and we've got Monique in Augusta, Georgia. Are you there, Monique?
I am here. How are you?
Oh, hello, Monique. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. And what a beautiful name. It sort of sounds French. It's sort of exotic.
Thank you.
And, one of my guides who does all my healing with me is called Augustus. That's... and you're from Augusta. So anyway, how can I help you? I don't know if you're aware, but I'm a medium, so I can connect to loved ones in the spirit world, and it's something I love to do. And also I can look at aspects of what's going on in your life.
Okay. Well, I don't have anybody on the other side that is close to me. Thank God everyone is still alive. But I was actually wondering if me and my ex that were together for 5 years, do you see us reconciling, getting back together?
Right, okay, let me have a look at this situation. it's almost as though when I look at the two of you, it's like, you know, I look at you energetically, it's almost like I can feel you both looking over your shoulder at each other. It's because I feel that it's like the relationship fell apart, but the feelings didn't fall apart. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Because I feel that I can feel the sort of the yearning from both sides of the fence. In other words, from you and from him. And I feel when I look at him, I feel that he takes on his shoulders a big portion of the blame for what happened. Would you understand why he would feel like that?
Oh, absolutely.
Because and he feels like he's almost lost the best thing that he ever had in his life. And it's almost like he could kick himself. And he feels like, and he doesn't know how to sort of resolve it, because he feels that you would be almost like you would not entertain the idea, because would there be an issue of trust with him?
Say that again?
Would there be an issue of trust with him?
Yes.
Because I feel like he thinks that you wouldn't trust him, or you wouldn't, it wouldn't work because of all that's gone. You know, it's like there's a lot of water under the bridge. And that's an English expression. I wonder whether it's an expression you have in your country too. Probably.
Yes, I've heard that before.
Yeah, a lot of them translate, and I sometimes come out with these expressions. I think, oh, do you understand that? Because we're talking in different. It's like we have the same language, but we don't sometimes.
Right.
But I just know with him that he would dearly, dearly love to be back with you and have you in his life. However, he has reservations because he is. And his simply put, his reservations is, will you trust him again, and will you, and also will you accept him? But I think that he would love it. There's actually, interestingly enough, there's a soul connection with you two.
I've heard that before.
Have you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm getting that quite strongly. There's a spiritual soul connection with both of you, and I feel that you, yes, you've lived a previous life together, and I know that it's this is an important journey, because there's a karmic reason why you're together, and I know that it's like you're meant to be, you're meant to work out some karmic stuff. But I think that I get the feeling that both of you would like this relationship to be rekindled, and it's a question of who's going to be brave enough to open up the dialogue.
I actually reached out to him today, but he didn't answer his phone.
Oh, well. Well, he you know, it takes time, and sometimes, and I think there's, you know, when I look at him, I do feel that there's a sense of fear around him, because he doesn't know whether you'll trust him, or you know, if there's an argument, you'll bring something up, or, you know, those sort of things. These are his reservations. So I think when you're talking to him, it would be, you need to sort of almost, obviously, you know, if that's the way it's going to go, that's the way it's going to go. I can't tell you how to be in your life. But if you were to choose to sort of, you know, put the past on the shelf and forget about it, it could work very well.
Okay.
And I just, you know, there's a soul connection, and I just know that he would be willing to open up the dialogue. But I just feel that he needs. It's ridiculous in a way, because I feel that he's the one that sort of has wronged the situation, but it's him that needs the reassurance that you'd be okay with him. Honestly.
Yeah, that does sound crazy.
Yeah, but that's the way it is. And you know what? Sadly, I've run out of time, and I know that my next caller is waiting.
Okay.
But if you want to find me on Facebook, which is Gail Moffat, International British Spiritual Medium and Teacher, or go to my website and you can connect to me by email, which is gailmoffat.com. So, do find me if you need to talk to me again. Lovely to speak to you.
Thank you. Lovely to talk to you as well.
Yeah, lovely Monique in Augusta. Thank you. Right, okay. We have Morgan in Pueblo, Colorado. Are you there, Morgan?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, Morgan, and how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very well, and I remember I've spoken to you before, haven't I?
Yes, yeah, actually you have. Yes.
So it's very nice to talk to you again. And would you like to connect to someone in the spirit world, or look at something that's going on in your life?
I would just like to connect with somebody in the spirit world.
And would that be your brother?
Yes, that would be my brother.
Right, okay. Let's see. Right, okay, so as I'm connecting to him, I sort of want to hold out my hands, and I'm looking at my hands, and I feel like there's some calluses on my hands, and I feel that this is your brother talking about his hands. Would you understand that?
Yes, I would. I actually just started CrossFit, working out, and so I have calluses all over, like all on my hands right now.
Yeah, and I feel that he would have had the same, because because I feel that he did a lot of working out too. Do you remember that about him?
Mhm.
And I know that he's got a sort of like a protective sort of instinct with you. He's because I feel like. I don't know whether you've got any other siblings, but I feel like I've got this sort of favouritism with you, and also like a fatherly figure towards you as well. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, he was very protective, for sure.
Yeah, and I feel that he would like to vet any of the boyfriends.
Yes.
And woe betide anyone that messed with his little sister. He would be sort of on the case, and because there is that protective side, it's like a fatherly protective side to him.
Yeah.
And he's saying to me that it's almost like I had to be that person. I stepped up to the plate to be the man around the house, and because that was the way our lives went.
Mhm.
And he's sort of just saying that to me. He's also showing me some newspaper cuttings, and I feel like there's been a series of newspaper cuttings with regards to his passing. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Because I feel like there's an ongoing investigation with this whole situation, and the truth hasn't entirely unfolded.
That's correct.
And would I be right in saying that there's been a recent celebration of his life for him?
There's been a recent celebration? Are there going to be?
either has or going to be. I don't know. It's round about now. It's like he's talking about like a sort of a, I don't know whether it's an annual event or a regular event, but it's like it's a coming together of lots of people to with regards to him. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, we're planning an event for his birthday coming up.
I felt it was his birthday, actually.
Yes. I
should have said that, shouldn't I? I felt it was his birthday. You just have to trust me on that one. And I know that he's also. I also feel with you that you've gone. There's been a situation where you have achieved something in your life, and it's been since he's passed to spirit. And I feel like it's in your sort of either academic or working life as opposed to home life. Because I do also feel that there's been a child born as well since he's passed to spirit.
Okay, yeah, I haven't had any children since he's passed, but I haven't moved forward with my work life.
Yeah, but I feel like there is a child somewhere that's been born.
Maybe somewhere in the family, I'm not sure. My niece was born like a month before he passed, so she was just a newborn when he passed. She was just about a month old. I don't know,
that sounds. I knew there was something like that around the time or just after. I wasn't sure, but I just could feel that he's acknowledging this small child, and also I'm seeing a sort of like a mountain road with mountains. Does that make sense to you?
He did. Yes, he did enjoy going to the mountains. So.
And I feel like this road is quite bendy and it's windy that he's showing to me.
Okay.
Would you understand why he's showing me this road? Because I feel like there's something significant about this road.
I think so. After he had passed, we all went on a family gathering, and it was up in the mountains. And from what I can remember, like it was a really beautiful drive, and it was. So I'm not sure if he's talking about that.
Yeah. And he's also talking about you working out, and he's saying that you've put a lot more effort into it since he's passed to spirit.
Yes, I definitely have.
He's saying that he's quite proud of how toned you are and how good you're looking.
Oh.
He's saying to me that my sister's very beautiful. And he was always proud of how you looked.
Yes.
Were you both estranged from your father?
Our father passed away when we were in high school.
Right. Yeah, because I just feel like you've got no access to your father. And he's saying to me that this was a really difficult time for both of us. And this is when we tried to be strong for our mum, but it was difficult for all of us. And I feel that he was the one, he tried to be strong for the women.
Yes,
he's quite sweet, really, because he's saying that he used to try and be, he felt it duty bound to be, the strong one in the family, to support both of you. And
that's true.
Yeah, and I'm also sensing, is there an animal that I can't quite get? I think it's a dog in the spirit world.
Yeah, we have quite a few, actually.
Yeah, because he's showing me a dog by the side of him. It's like he's with the dog.
Oh, okay. Do you know what kind of dog it is?
No.
No? We had several dogs that passed away during our childhood, so.
I get the one that he just feels sort of quite he's not tiny and he's not big. He's a sort of like middle of the road size, and he feels like he's quite fluffy. There's a fluffiness to the dog.
Okay.
Does that ring? It feels like a sort of a creamy whitey colour.
We did have, we had a husky, and her name was Nikki, and she was all white, kind of, so maybe it was her.
Yeah, it was that sort of size that I'm seeing. And I'm being drawn to the paws of this dog, because I feel like there was something wrong with the claws, or the claws were quite long.
Okay.
You remember that about the dog?
All right, yeah.
You do? Okay. Now, I've come to the end of the show, so thank you for phoning in, and find me on Facebook or gailmoffat.com. I'm coming to Southern California in next month, and all those details for all the shows that I'm going to be doing is in on my Facebook web page, and Facebook as well. So it's all over the place. So thank you very much, Morgan, for calling in, and I hope you enjoy your brother's birthday that's coming up.